Welcome to the greatest show on earth, Circus at the Ontario Science Centre. Joining me today is Donna Francis. Donna, thanks for having us here.
Thanks.
What do you do here at the Science Centre?
I'm a researcher and programmer in chemistry and materials science. So that means that I do some of the background research for programs, for events, and sometimes exhibits.
Very cool. And now this exhibit, Circus, is very unique to the Science Centre in that it was created right here. Can you tell me how that came to be?
Absolutely. So there was a brainstorming just over 10 years ago, 12 years ago now, where they came up with the idea of why don't we do the science of the circus? There's a lot going on and it would be a great opportunity for us to do. And a couple years later, it was created here in-house, it was designed in-house and built in-house, and it showed here. And then it's been on tour for 10 years, and now it's come back.
Cool, so it's been on tour in other cities?
Yes, in other science centers all over North America.
Very neat. Okay, cool. So when we come to the Science Centre, we should do a little tour of the circus exhibit.
Absolutely.
This is a good place to start, in the costume place.
Yes.
Yeah, I've chosen to dress up like the Master of Ceremonies, of course.
Love it, love it.
So we have one of these really cool, kind of like, I like to call it like a scratch and sniff station. So this is sense memory, right?
Yes.
So what's the science behind this one?
So when you go to the circus, you're usually overwhelmed by the sights, the smells, the sounds. One of those key things is the smell. You know the smell of the popcorn, the smell of the corn dogs. There are lots of things that are very specific circus smells, and we thought we'd recreate them for you here, get you to guess them, as well as give you some of the hidden science behind them. So right over here, you can try smelling them and see if it triggers any memories.
Okay.
Try it out.
I'll try this guy. That smells like cotton candy to me.
Okay, try it out. See if you're right.
Well, those are some sweet smelling animals.
Yes,
That's definitely
yes.
for sure. Okay. Well, and while we're on the laughing, I guess we're on the topic of laughter, you have another station over here that is laughter. So how does this one work?
So this one's a really interesting one because it's got a bunch of little science tidbits about laughter. And if you press it, you'll notice some of the areas of the brain that are triggered when you laugh, when you hear something funny, or when you think that something's funny as well.
So some of the, when you press a different button, it lights up in a different place. Is that different part? How come it's in different places?
So they're in different places because, for example, the one that you just pressed before, that one is your brain's smile center, and it's activated by laughter. It reacts when you hear somebody laughing.
Cool.
Whereas this one has to do with when you're listening to something, do you actually think it's funny? So it's sort of the thinking about, is that joke funny or not? Yeah.
Critical thinking mode.
A little bit, yeah.
Cool. Okay, and then another part of the circus is animals. We always see animals. So what is happening here at this display?
So in this area, we're taking a look at some of the different famous animals that are part of the circus. Think about Jumbo the elephant, Gargantuan the gorilla. For a lot of places, when circuses first started, this was the only place where you could see such exotic creatures as lions and tigers and elephants and gorillas. And so we've captured a little bit of the history, but here we're also capturing some of the biology. So when you listen to a lion roar or a tiger roar, they have a two-stage roar, two-level roar. They have that one stage that you can actually hear, that sounds, that big growl. Yeah, very fearsome, right? But the part that makes it particularly fearsome is this lower sort of growl that they have. It's like an infrasound where it's sort of this rumble. It generates that rumble in you because it's such a deep sound.
Very cool. And now over here we have another really neat part. This is like a weighted bar. So what kind of science are we using here?
So this is covering the science of balancing on a high wire. And it's looking at some of the physics and the science behind being able to walk on a wire, being able to balance. There's a lot of things going on when you're balancing on a very skinny piece of wire or a skinny beam. And one of those things is trying to keep your center of balance directly above what you're balancing on. You know, if you're standing on one leg and you move over to one side, it's going to make you fall over.
For sure.
So this is an opportunity to try it out for yourself. You can try it on its own. You can try it with just using your arms to help you balance. And then that weighted bar is just sort of an extension of using your arms to help you balance. Because it's weighted at the ends, it helps to give you a bit more time in terms of your center of balance being swayed off.
And it's very important to have a little practice run on there because you have this super awesome high wire. Now this is open for anybody to try?
You have to be over a particular height.
Sure, fair enough.
But once you're over that particular height, you have the opportunity to try out the high wire for yourself.
Very awesome. And have you had a chance to wobble up there?
I have.
How did you do?
It's a lot of fun. I'm not an expert, that's for sure. I mean, with any of these things in the circus, practice is absolutely key. Circus performers will spend a lifetime honing their technique so that something like walking across the wire is pretty much second nature. They're able to react. They know when the wind catches. They know exactly how to react to make it a good experience.
Nice. Very cool. Awesome. Well, Donna, thank you so much for taking me on a tour of circus. We are going to check out another exhibit coming up later in the show, so don't go anywhere. Hey, we're back at the Ontario Science Centre, and I am in the Weston Family Innovation Centre. Joining me is Rochelle. Hi, Rochelle. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Doing very well, thank you. So this centre has got lots of different exhibits, right?
Oh yes, lots to do and see here. The centre's all about innovation, and whether you are a 3-year-old and deciding what you want to innovate in your own backyard, or whether you're 25 years old and deciding what you're going to innovate through university career, it's all about here.
Very cool. So you may wonder why I am wearing wings, because the first thing that we're going to check out here is this bird display.
You can fly.
So you think you can fly? Okay.
Do you think you can fly?
On an airplane.
Can you fly with those wings?
It's going to be interesting to see.
Why don't you give it a try?
Okay.
If you turn around, you can put your feet on the foot marks and flap as hard as you can and see how many beats per minute you can do.
Oh my goodness, tough being a bird. Maybe you got to put some bend into it?
Okay, you haven't taken flight yet.
Oh no, really? Nothing?
Not yet, no.
Okay, well, maybe I am meant to be land-based.
Yes, we are not meant for flying, but birds are. And you can compare your beats per minute to over there with some of the other birds. So like a condor would do 1 to 3 beats per second. A gull would do 10 to 12 beats per second. And as you go higher, hummingbird, of course, is 30 to 90 beats per second.
Okay, so
you got about 88 per minute. So you're not going to fly anytime soon, sorry.
And there's another neat part to this one over around the corner here. How does this work?
This one measures your weight, but it doesn't reveal your weight. It measures your weight to determine how big your wingspan would be if you were a bird. So it takes your weight and calculates how big your wings would have to be.
Oh, okay, so based on your weight.
Based on your weight, yeah. Wow. So that would be the wingspan.
And does it compare to an average bird?
It's obviously much larger than the wingspan of a wandering albatross, which is one of the largest wingspans.
Wow. And that's just because we're so big, I guess we would need
Yes, and we are so heavy, and we need a lot more oomph to get off the ground.
Were there any birds prehistoric that were like the size of humans today?
And the Archaeopteryx, did I say that one? Argentavis, sorry, the Argentavis. And that would be the bird that most closely resembles us as birds, quote unquote.
So another one of the interesting interactive displays you have is this one right here.
Yep.
Now this is
our ferrofluid piano.
Ferrofluid, okay.
A ferrofluid is a fluid that has iron filings in it, so it's actually magnetic. Oh. It was initially researched and explored in NASA labs for use in the space shuttle, I believe, and through NASA. It didn't get used that way, but now it's being used in speakers and in car brakes. So,
so this is something that we find in our everyday lives.
So it's an example of something that one group spent years researching for one particular use, only to discover that it wasn't good for that use, but we've repurposed it for another use. And you can actually see over here the magnets in action. If you want to take our magnet and just put it up against the filings.
Oh, whoa. That's so neat.
Yeah, so that shows you that it's magnetic properties.
And you said it was like an iron base?
Yeah, and that's what's in the fluid there. So each grid responds to each key on the piano when you were playing it.
So cool. And that's fun. And now I can't play the piano, so you don't need to be able to play the piano.
No,
have fun with that one.
You can do. Can you sing?
No.
You can either
not in public.
You can either sing through the mic, or you can actually plug in your own MP3 player.
Cool.
And it will respond to the music that you play.
Awesome. Another one that is pretty unique is this amazing big piece over here. What is this?
This is our exhibit that actually responds to heartbeats. So each individual person is actually holding a heartbeat monitor, and the monitor is tracking your heartbeat, and then the lights are responding to how fast or slow your heart is going. The more nervous you are, of course, the more it might race, the faster the lights will go. And when all 4 people are working at the same time, you get a harmonized effect at the top that's combining everybody's heartbeats together. So you're actually interacting with all these other people at the exhibit right now.
Awesome. So my heartbeat per minute is a lot better than my wing beat per minute.
Yes, you're doing better on that. What is it?
It's changed a couple times. It was 150.
Well, now I can tell how nervous you are right now, or how calm you are.
That should be pretty calm. Fun.
So when one person's at the exhibit, only if it was just you, only the blue section would light up. But as you get more and more people interacting, you get this crazy harmonic happening. And what's nice about it is you can have groups of kids who don't know each other working together to create this sculpture and help the sculpture come alive.
So it's not just science, but there's some teamwork.
Well, it's collaboration, and this fits in with our idea around innovation of peer pressure. Sometimes our greatest innovations come in a competitive forum where we're competing against others, but they also come in a collaborative forum where we're working with other people to create something.
Very cool. And yeah, that would be one thing that I think, being a family innovation center, that you'd want to do. You'd want to have interactive things where you can work with kids and families.
Oh, absolutely. And test different results. So we have kids that have come and used this, and then they track their heartbeat, and then the next thing you know, you see them running around the exhibit to try and raise their heartbeat, and then come back down onto the heartbeat monitor, and they're of course they're beating faster. And yeah, exactly.
Very cool. And then another one of a sciencey thing to do is we have this. So what exactly is this?
Well, this is going to be part of increase in our exhibits. We're putting on new exhibits on the floor called Materials Playground, where people can investigate different materials and how they work and interact, and maybe expect some different reactions to the materials that they're using. So this particular exhibit has a number of different materials, and we have some irons down below.
Okay.
And you can want to grab an iron or just. And it's about friction and comparing how quickly these irons can go down on different surfaces. So you've got the Curie board.
So this looks like a tree.
Yep. And then you've got, which one did you pick? You've got nylon. And you can see how quickly that one goes down.
Decent pace.
Decent pace. You can compare it to what you have next.
I don't know.
Unnamed one.
Unknown. Couple unknowns.
Surprised ones. A little bit faster, and then here, how fast do you think it's going to go?
We'll try the AstroTurf. Not very. Oh, like molasses.
And it's going to stop eventually, probably.
Yeah.
So families can experiment with different materials and the friction between different materials and how some things can go fast or slow. And as this space grows, there'll be all sorts of different materials on the floor, on the wall. You'll see up the wall comes out across the floor as well, to experiment with materials and look at different materials in ways that they might not have looked at them before.
So as somebody who works at the Science Center, what are some of the coolest things that you've seen with families coming here and interacting?
Well, the Telltale Heart one, I love watching the families interact. Yesterday I was here and there was a mom on one side and her daughter on the other side, and you saw that aha moment where the young girl realized that the two of them were actually working on this together. If the mother let go, it only had one lit up side. But when the mother came on, you could see both sides light up, or both pieces light up, and you saw that aha moment where she realized, hey, we're doing this together, and this is kind of cool. And she had this little shy wave to her mom through the glass, which was really quite nice. And then watching the kids race around and try to experiment with their heartbeats, try and get them higher, try and calm down and get them lower, and see how it affects the exhibit. So just watching the kids discover, watching that moment, that aha moment where they've discovered they've done something, or they've initiated something, or they've made this connection on something that they didn't realize was there to begin with.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Rochelle, for your time.
My pleasure.
Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
And now we join back in the studio.